Orange. It's tournament time, and you know what that means. Before I talk about what's ahead for the Orange Cuse fans, let's take a quick look back at the big dance that was in New York City. That's right, the 5-day circus every early March. That is the Big East tournament. And yes, it definitely was a 3-ring circus, but I wasn't the ringmaster. The commissioner of the Big East Conference is the ringmaster. Apparently, this is the last year that the Big East tournament will have that double bye. And you know, Syracuse got one of those double byes after their destruction of DePaul. They had to wait till the 3rd day, and they got an opponent that won in very, and I mean very, controversial fashion. St. John's is the de facto home team on the Madison Square Garden court. But you know, we are also considered a de facto home team for Madison Square Garden. But you gotta wonder if St. John's deserved to be in that game with Syracuse, the way their game against Rutgers ended. Heck, the refs decided to walk off the court there when they saw the St. John's player steal the ball. They didn't see him travel, nor did they see him step out of bounds with 1.7 seconds. And Jim Burr was one of the officials. Burr is one of the top officials in college basketball, and he let it happen. Rutgers should have had another chance there. Maybe they could have pulled the upset, and they could have been Syracuse's opponent. But, alas, that's what happens when you got people who can't do shit when they officiate. But hell, Burr and his crew excused themselves from the rest of the tournament. But let's get to the game, shall we? Was a pretty even, pretty close matchup for a long time. But alas, Syracuse showed that they are the de facto home team for Madison Square Garden. A nice 79-73 victory over the Red Storm. And that got us a semifinal matchup with a team that pulled a great run through the Big East tournament. They started on the first day, and lo and behold, led by who I think is arguably the best player in college basketball right now, Kemba Walker, Connecticut made their way to play the Orange, and it looked like it was going to be a repeat of the Six in the City from 2 years ago. That epic game that still is in the minds of everybody and will live forever for Syracuse and Connecticut fans. And this game went into overtime, thanks to a clutch 3-pointer from Scoop, don't call me a can of Jardines. But you know, Kemba Walker and the Huskies were a little too much this time for the Orange. They won 76-71 on their way to winning the Big East tournament title against Louisville and Rick Pitino. But Syracuse still were in great position when the seedings were there for the NCAA tournament. And lo and behold, what did the NCAA selection committee do? You gotta wonder, are they thinking clearly? They put Syracuse in an extremely loaded East bracket. And I mean loaded. And I don't mean with a .50 caliber machine gun. Let's take a look at who else is in this bracket. Syracuse is the number 3 seed, but guess who the other 3 top seeds are? Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, North Carolina. And number 4, Kentucky. And Syracuse poked right in the middle. Boy, is that loaded or what? But let's take a look at their first round opponent, shall we? Their first round opponent, the Missouri Valley Tournament champions and the alma mater of one of the greatest NBA players ever, greatest basketball players ever, Larry Bird, the Sycamores of Indiana State. coming from Terre Haute. And I should say, Terre Haute is also the home to one of the best dirt tracks in the country. I wonder if our local racer, Megan Allen, would think about racing her sprint car there. But let's not get off the beaten track, shall we? These sycamores don't look like trees to me. Trees? I'll defoliate you, you nincompoop. Oh! Enough Three Stooges there. But after Indiana State, if we get past those sycamores, look who's next. A very intriguing matchup being in Cleveland. Xavier and Marquette is the team that will send their winner against the Orange if the Orange get past the Sycamores. Xavier always flies under the radar every year, and those Musketeers have been known to be giant killers. Those swashbuckling guys have been known to slay some big ones, and this Xavier team looks like it could be ripe to give Syracuse an upset if it's Xavier and Syracuse in the next round. But what about Marquette being one of 11 teams from the Big East to make it into the 68-team field? Marquette was the last one. And you all know what happened during the season. Marquette beat Syracuse. And they are not razzled by that 2-3 zone Syracuse employs. Either or, that second round matchup could be trouble for the Orange. But how about later on, the Sweet 16? Potentially, Roy Williams in North Carolina could be waiting for us in the Sweet 16. And they went on a tear late in the season, making it to the ACC tournament final, where, alas, Duke beat them in what is considered the greatest rivalry in college basketball. Although I'm going to say Georgetown and Syracuse could come close. And a potential Elite Eight matchup where we could face the guy who does not deserve to be a college coach at all, John Calipari, or I should say John Calipuke, and the Kentucky Wildcats, if they get past Ohio State. If that happens, I hope Boeheim does a John Chaney on you, Calipari, because you know he's not going to get his ass blasted if he comes against you, and if you say something about him, he's going to kill you. And I hope John Chaney could have done it, because Boeheim's going to knock your frickin' kid in the mouth, Calipari. But whatever, it's that time of year. Oh, Indiana State is first. Ohio State potentially in the Elite Eight. Let's get past these Sycamores and get past either the Musketeers or the Golden Eagles to head to the Sweet 16. It's a big week and a big time, Orange fans. I'm Ken Haas, that's my story, and it's tournament time.